Welcome to the Bark and Bite. My name is Brandon Baker of Black Dog Barbecue, and I want to start off today by saying thank you for coming to the channel. If you're new, make sure to tap that subscribe button so you can see all the great content that we're coming out with. But today, I'm teaming up with Charbroil Grills to show you how to make this steak au poivre with 3 cheese grills. Let's check it out. Steak au poivre is a French-based recipe that's really all about the sauce. It's a very peppercorn heavy, creamy sauce that goes excellent with any cut of beef. Today I'll be using it on flank steak, and I've used it in a variety of ways in the past, whether that's just on steak, maybe serving it with potatoes or serving it with rice. I've also used it on sandwiches, which is one of my favorite uses for an au poivre sauce. That being said, we're going to switch it up today, and I'll be pairing the steak au poivre with 3 cheese grits, which I think are going to go over very well. So let's check it out. For the steaks, like I mentioned earlier, we're using flank steaks. And as you can see here, I've butchered them up pretty good to make them into strips more so than your typical shape that you would see from a flank steak. Same cut of meat, but as you can see, you've just got this thicker portion, so it's gonna cook more even, which is what I'm going for. It's also aesthetically gonna look a little bit better, so we're gonna roll with it just like this. And I'll show you guys up here on the screen, but I think it's important to note that the first step that I did here after I sliced it up was I dry brined it with salt. And I recommend doing that not only with any cut of beef, but also with any really any other cut of meat in general. But generally speaking, how early you dry brine a meat with salt is going to depend on its thickness. For a flank steak like this, that's really not that big, 20-30 minutes before is perfectly fine. If you're talking about something like a roast or a whole chicken, you're going to want to salt that at least a few hours in advance. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow that salt to infiltrate into the meat, which is going to be able to, number one, taste better because that salt's going to be more evenly distributed. It's also going to help to tenderize the meat. I'm going to hit this with a very light layer of black pepper, and that's all the seasoning that I'm going to be doing. And that is all the seasoning we're gonna do. These steaks are ready to go. As you can see, it's a very thin layer of black pepper. It's not like if you're barbecuing a pork butt, beef ribs, anything like that where you go real heavy. No need here because of that sauce again. So this is ready to go, and in just a second, I'm gonna throw these on the grill and we'll get started cooking. Today I'll be making this entire recipe on my Charbroil commercial series 4-burner gas grill. And this is really the perfect grill to be making this recipe on if you're going to be making the steak au poivre outside, as I'll be doing today, because of the fact that you've got the side burner on the far left, which is going to be perfect for making the au poivre sauce, as well as the 3 cheese grits that we'll be making at the end. You've got excellent cooking space on the interior here. I'm going to be cooking several pieces of flank steak, and this is going to easily be able to cover that. I can throw some vegetables in if I want and still have plenty of room. So with that, we're going to light up the grill and get started. All right, as you can see, we have our flank steaks on the grill. I've got these cooking around 600 degrees, so we're gonna be cooking these hot and fast. They'll only be on this side for about 4 to 5 minutes before I flip them. Maybe a little bit longer, we'll see. But I'm gonna pull these after I flip them once, and they reach about 125 to 130 degrees internal temperature. Steaks have been cooking for about 8 minutes, and a couple of these guys are actually already done, so we're going to start pulling those off. That's a beautiful steak. See ya! And that is a nice medium finish right there. The first step for making the au poivre sauce is to saute shallots in garlic and butter, which we'll be doing right now. Don't forget to add your pepper. Now we're not looking to caramelize the shallots, we're really just looking to cook those until tender and the garlic is fragrant. Both of those 2 steps have happened, so now we're going to add in our next ingredient, which is going to be bourbon. This is an additional step that is not always used in an au poivre sauce, but I do think it adds another layer of flavor that goes excellent with beef. So I'm going to be adding this here today, and really it acts like any other acidic ingredient to deglaze that pan and add, like I mentioned, that other layer of flavor. All right, our last 2 steps here, we're going to add in equal parts beef broth and heavy cream to finish off this sauce. This is about to be delicious. This is exactly what I'm trying to do right now. I want to get this sauce to cook down and get this reduced by half. It'll take about 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to set this aside until we're ready to serve it up with the steak. The sauce is reduced right how we want it, and it's got that spoon-thick consistency. So right now I'm about to pull this off the grill, and we're going to set this aside till we're ready to use it at the end. Next, we'll be making our 3 cheese grits. And there's a variety of different ways that you can make grits and make them come out excellent. But today what I'll be doing is combining broth as well as heavy cream, and we're going to bring that to a boil. Once that's up to a boil, we're going to slowly add in our grits, making sure we continuously stir that throughout the process. Now that we've got all the grits in here and they're really starting to thicken up, we're going to reduce the heat down to medium-low. That's going to allow them to cook for a longer period of time so that they can become more tender and have that texture that we're looking for at the end. One more thing I'd like to mention with grits is you want to make sure you do have some liquid on hand just in case you need to add some in. If it is getting too thick, never anything wrong with continuously adding a little bit more water in there or broth or even more heavy cream, just so you can get that consistency that you want and get those grits fully cooked through. Now that our grits have the texture we're looking for, they're silky and smooth, I've turned off the heat source and I'm going to add in some butter as well as my 3 cheese blend to add some flavor here at the end. The 3 cheese blend that I'm using today is going to be a gouda, cheddar, and parmesan mixture. Feel free to use whatever you have on hand. Your hard cheeses tend to work better if you're grating it like I did, so I would stick with those. But it works to add some nice flavor as well as a saltiness to the grits that really pairs well. I cannot wait to get a bowl of this. Hit it with a little salt. Always salt to taste. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. So we just took our steaks off the grill, sliced them up, then plated them with the 3 cheese grits and topped it with the Au Poivre Sauce. The only thing left to do is dig in. That is absolutely delicious. Let's get some more of these grits. I tell you what, the flavor of the grits paired with the steak and that peppery Au Poivre Sauce goes together perfectly. Again, this sauce has never failed for me. Every time I make it, I really enjoy when I put it on. To me, it's almost foolproof, and it's extremely easy to make, as you saw. Took me about 5-10 minutes. That was about it. So it's super quick. It's absolutely delicious. Makes steak even better than it already is. It's honestly the type of meal that's perfect comfort food. I mean, it's one of those that if you're having a date night, it would be a great meal to pull out. If you're just having a good family dinner, this is also an awesome one. Even for the holidays, I could see this working. Honestly, there's just so much flavor in this dish, you really can't mess it up. All right, guys, that wraps up today's video. Thank you again for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed it. And as a reminder, don't forget to give us a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tune in for more great content that we have coming up. But that's it for now, and until we see you next time, happy grilling.